Welcome to WagerTalk TV. My name is Minty. I will be your host today, and joining me today is Bruce Marshall at Bruce A. Marshall on Twitter, and Yanni the Greek at Greek_Gambler on Twitter. This Saturday, we've got Navy at Notre Dame. Today's Navy at Notre Dame video is brought to you by The Gold Sheet, the nation's longest running sports betting publication. All right, Bruce, I'm going to go to you first. Navy. Their rushing offense leads the country. Their defense has improved quite a bit, and they got a pretty cool quarterback, Malcolm Perry. What do you think of this game? Should Notre Dame be worried at all?
I think they should be. And like you mentioned all those things, Perry, and the surprising thing about him, he is now 7th nationally passing efficiency, the Navy quarterback, the option team Navy, and you mentioned, of course, top in the nation rushing. The big difference this year is on the stop end because Navy's cut about half points from last year. They were 34 points per game last year, 18 this year. But here's the deal in this game. The point spread has dropped, and it's been one-way traffic here. It's just gone down from the start of the week, 10.5, as we're doing this, 7.5 right now. And you run into this situation a lot, and I talk to people around town who will simply just back away from this game, and I sort of understand that because you think, God, I could have had this thing at plus 10.5, now it's 7.5, so it's a no play. Sometimes that's a good idea. That's not always a good idea. Listen, an analogy I've got is I used to be in the brokerage business. Listen, in 1986, when the Dow was sitting at 1,300, I knew people who said, it's gone too high, I'm not getting in. And they just never got in. It was always too high. Listen, it's what it is today. That's what the number is. If you think Navy's got a shot to win this game, this is what you've got to work with today. Don't get scared of it. I think they've got a shot to win this game. Yeah, I would have rather had 10.5 than 7. Yeah. But you could still play these guys because of what we talked about, because this rushing offense is so good, because they've covered 12 of the last 14 games at South Bend, because they've got a great record as an underdog. They think they can win. They've been playing teams as good as Notre Dame, too. The American is a very tough league. You've got series history here. You've got a very live underdog. The fundamentals work pretty well. This point spread thing, there was a little bit of a concern, but I still think if it's above 7, you can go on Navy. You'd rather have had 10.5. 7, though, not all that bad.
I like it. Yanni.
Now, I got to agree with Bruce. I mean, just because a line moves, it doesn't mean the value's gone. But what you do have to factor in is that some of the value has been lost. Meaning if you could get 7.5 now and you could have got 10.5 a few days ago, your 7.5 bet probably shouldn't be as big as it should be if you were getting 10.5. I mean, as a sports bettor, if you're not bet sizing the same on every bet, then the only reason you should bet more is because of the difference between your number and what the number the book's offering. So the bigger the discrepancy, the bigger your bet should be. And now if you like the dog, it's not as big anymore. So I think you shouldn't pass automatically. But again, you got to proceed with caution when lines move so significantly, because even if you win, if you didn't get any line value, that's a habit that's going to cost you money long term. I mean, you could have a nice season, you could have a nice couple months, but if you get into the habit of not betting numbers correctly, you're not going to be able to turn a profit long term. Meaning, if you get in the habit of taking plus 7.5 when the line was 10.5, and you constantly are taking the closing number, long term, you're going to lose money. It's very hard to beat it because the closing number is just so accurate. I mean, there's no other way to put it, because all the information has already been factored. That's why books will only take 500 on Monday and take 50,000 on Friday, because by Friday they have all that information. They believe their line is at a point where if you're laying 11 to win 10, you don't have an edge either way. That's the goal of the book, to either split the action or split the result. You can't split the action on every game. That's almost impossible. But if you have some sharp guys making numbers, you can split the result. And if the line moves that significantly, I think it changes things somewhat. I haven't bet the game. I know a lot of sharp money's on Navy, so I'll respect it. But I think some of the value's got to be lost.
The moral of this story is, I mean, don't be afraid to bet these games early in the week. Know
right,
the matchup.
Great point.
Know the matchup, and if you expect the number to move, go ahead and jump in early, because in this case, you'd been better off with Navy earlier.
And nothing wrong with passing if you miss the number.
Right.
Like, your bankroll is your war chest, and you have to defend it, protect it, respect it, and you have to put it in positions that are advantageous to you, not for action. not because it's on TV, but because it's advantageous. If you don't have a situation like that, you shouldn't want to get your money down on it. You could take a step back and wait for the next spot. Again, if you're going to put a little money or have fun, entertainment money, which is money that's lost, anytime, you know, if you like to go to movies, bars, whatever, that's entertainment money, it's lost. If you're betting for entertainment, God bless you, bet however you like. But if you're actually betting hard-earned money, I mean, don't give it to them. You know, make them fight for every penny of it, at least.
I like that. Thank you for that advice, guys. Get the nation's longest-running sports betting publication, the Gold Sheet, for just $9. You will receive detailed analysis, write-ups, stats, and more on every college and pro game this week. Download the Gold Sheet now at WagerTalk.com or SportsMemo.com.